Welcome to Laguna Podcast, an attempt at illustrating the lives and stories from the Texas outdoors. Today I sit down with a man who has been able to see the lower Laguna Madre in its absolute infancy, as well as been able to fish in the most protected area in the entire lower Laguna Madre. This is my conversation with Ali Besteiro. All right, well, I got Mr. Ali Besteiro in the chair today, and this one's really cool because Tom gave me your name in the middle of our podcast. That podcast hasn't even come out yet, and I'm already here doing this episode with you. And this is going to be another very big history-heavy episode, in my opinion. So, with that being said, if you could just tell me your first memory in the outdoors, and then just kind of run me through your chronological progression as an angler.
My dad was a big fisherman. He loved his tarpon fishing. Back then, we'd go down to Tampico in the Panaco River. I was probably 7, 8 years old, and he had a yellow jacket boat, wood hull boat with the 40 Evinrude on it. And we'd go down there, stay in Tampico, and it was a 2-day or 3-day tournament. It was a big tarpon tournament. The Panaco River was just massive amounts of tarpon. I mean, big. And they threw these huge plugs, looked like pipe plugs that you see in Canada, and troll behind them. In fact, Dad caught about 150-pounder, and he knew he wasn't going to qualify in the tournament. So he took it to registration. He told them, my son caught it. So I come out in the paper the next day, in the Tampico Press, whatever it was. But Dad he was always pulling that kind of crap. Anyway, but those are, back then, snook fishing in the Panaco, the tarpon, it was just, there wasn't no pollution. That's what killed the Panaco River in Tampico, Tamaulipas, pollution. Back then, Dad had shrimp boats. So as a little kid, I was up and down the shrimp basin with my little Shakespeare reel, fishing the dock, would get some shrimp off the boats and just slaying the redfish, skipjacks, whatever I could catch with damn hook, line, and sink right below the pier. And one of my fondest memories, I remember catching a nice redfish, probably about 7 pounds, and I ran inside the office with it. And Dad's sitting there interviewing this guy, boat captain, trying to make payments. And he said, God dang me, let me see that fish, And it's vivid in my mind that I caught that huge-ass red off the dock, just wheeled it up on the dock. And that's pretty much how I got started. Dad always took me. He was the river, Rio Grande River, there's an area they call Tarpon Bend. Dad talked about that all the time. You could go down there in the afternoon and plug cast and catch 40, 50-pound tarpon, piece of cake. Nothing to it. And of course, I was too little to remember that, but he told me about those days. And they trolled big time in the river, catching big tarpon, big snook. The river was massive. We don't have a river what they had back then in the early 40s and 50s. And that's pretty much how I got started. Then later, when I do remember, is being about 12 years old, 10 years old, Dad gave me an old beat-up Jeep. And back then, we could drive right to the jetties. We could drive up and down the beach, piece of cake. And we'd go fish those jetties. You'd have massive amounts of trout, pompano, some redfish, but mainly the trout were just, you could fill up a trash can full of fish. And old man Jack Todd lived a couple of trailers down. He'd come wake me up. I'd sleep on the porch. He'd grab my toe and off we went to the jetties. No water, no nada. Grab your rod, grab your spoons, let's go. And he fished a hump M5, I still remember it, a queen bingo. And he jerked that bait big time, gave it action. He was a tremendous fisherman, Mr. Todd. And of course, we're fishing Mitchell 300s back in those days. You probably don't even remember that.
No.
And it's just everything about South Padre Island, the Jetties restaurant, it was just so immaculate. It's not like Miami Beach it is today.
Yeah.
I don't even enjoy going to the island nowadays because it's Miami. It's nothing what I remember, Sandy Retreat, the Sammy, what was it, Sandy's Sandbox, restaurant, quarter, give you a full order of pancakes. And
This episode is made possible by our friends over at Gordy & Sons Outfitters, located in Houston, Texas, and employing a team of experienced outdoorsmen specializing in fly fishing, hunting, and wing shooting. Gordy & Sons is sure to prepare you for success in the outdoors. Next time you find yourself preparing for a weekend getaway or a bucket list trip, be sure to give them a visit at www.gordyandsons.com.
It was great, the memories. Mm-hmm. And plus, driving on the beach, we'd go up and down. We'd see birds working. We'd throw Johnson spoons at it. We didn't have 7 heavies back then. But, the fishing was just tremendous. That was out. Later in life, I've got Dad's boat and started fishing South Bay. Of course, we had the massive amount of trout lines.
Yeah.
You had to be careful. And they'd fish those those leaves. And it would be solid with redfish. Huge fish, 30-inch plus redfish on those trout lines.
Yeah, that's right. They would hook just like leaves to the hooks, right? And that alone would just like get the fish to eat.
Trying to think the name, and they cut it in a diamond shape. It was kind of brown, and it kind of just wiggled in the damn trout. They smoke them.
Wow.
It was kind of sickening because they raped it so much.
Yeah. Well, I know at one point you ended up getting into fly fishing. How long did that take from the first memory you just told me about 14? What was the timeline more or less?
We were in high school.
Here, you could pull that microphone a little bit more in front of you.
We were in high school. I was probably 8th or 9th grade.
Uh-huh.
And David Putin, myself, we knew the ditch was producing awful good fish. And we started off by making these little streamers with a clear bobble, throwing up with a spinning reel. And we'd catch some nice trout. It was great. It was fun. But then Jim Erickson showed up. Joe, what did I say his name was?
Oh, Joe. Forgot also.
I got it right there.
Yeah, my bad. Where is it? More or less. Is it at the bottom? Spinning reel. First.
Let me see it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Joe Correa and Jim Erickson.
Joe Correa, okay.
Those guys were the Lefty Craigs of South Texas. And just watching them throw beautiful cast after cast, and they'd hear a pop. Man, that fly was immediately there, 6-8 pound snook. Just nothing to it.
Yeah.
But the bait was massive. All these shiners, shrimp, crawfish. Everything was coming out of there, especially after rain. But we've picked up, David and I ended up buying Fenwick FF85s with the Medalist reel, number 8 line, level line, and we'd make, or just get some deer hair, just kind of with the damn little bitty hook and put some, back there, I don't even think we had super glue. We just tied together and off we went. It worked great. We're just imitating streamers is what we were doing. And the skipjack, the trout, and we didn't overfish it. We'd take 2 fish home, per session, just for dinner.
That was rare for back then.
Yeah. And I'd go in the morning before school. Then I'd go back at sundown. It was just paradise. And then the Port of Brownsville closed that off. No fishing allowed. Well, me being the smartass that I was, figured out how to get down there through Highway 4, through the VOR station, and go back down and then hide my little truck back in there. Get my bike out, my fly rod behind me, just kind of tuck it under, and off we went. I get to the main road. I look both ways, nobody coming. Off I went right down.
Yep.
Got over there, put my bike down below, and just fished till dark. It was just had it to myself.
Yeah.
I took David Putin at one time, and you could almost hear the explosions going off from where we parked. He broke his fly rod tip on the door, the dumbass. Anyway. We got down there. He fished the way he had it.
Yeah.
It was just great fishing. We didn't know the possibilities that were there. I got stripped many times. Into my back and gone.
Wow.
Over.
Wow. Yeah.
Huge snook. Big snook.
And then from there, when did you start? I think you mentioned getting your dad's boat and then seeing the rest of the bay and stuff like that.
I finally learned after that there was other possibilities in South Texas. So we started experimenting at South Bay and just running that whole area back in there. We'd throw bait, we'd throw spinners, we'd throw Johnson Sprites with those Mitchell 300s and It's just, you couldn't miss. You just couldn't miss. Set up a drift and you catch unbelievable fish, big trout. There's one memory that sticks out I want to bring to your attention. My dad had this guy. He used to bring oysters to my dad from South Bay. He brought oysters to my grandfather.
Wow.
He brought oysters when I came here in 87 from South Bay. And he remembers a story where this guy told the boss, the commercial boss, everything was gill netted back then. He says, "Patrón, necesito un robalo porque va a ser fiesta de mi hija." And he had the snook over his shoulder and the tail was dragging behind him.
No way.
That's a true story. The old man was truthful as could be.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's factual or not, he says it was. But that lets you know how big snook could get back in those days. But I never forgot that. He was quite a character. Really a great guy.
Wow. We were talking a little bit about fly fishing.
Fly fishing was just tremendous because once we learned that, we got into better sophisticated equipment. Into some of your better Fenwick rods. What's the guy's Temple Fork?
Yeah.
I picked up some of them. Bahia Grande, back in there, that area. I started with the little kayak going back in Bahia.
And this is before it got closed?
It was always closed.
It was always closed. Okay, now I'm even more interested.
It's always been closed. So I learned, you got to remember, I had a little airplane, Cessna 150. So I'd cruise and I'm always looking for fish, always. South Bay or whatever. But Bahia caught my eye, especially around August, September, before the migration of those fish going out. You couldn't miss it. I mean, at 300-400 feet, you see these massive schools of redfish. Look like Louisiana. I mean, massive, huge fish. So I started with the kayak that I bought out of Florida. The wind picked up one day and it about killed me trying to get back to my truck. And I said, there's got to be a better system. So I was trying to figure out how to put a trolling motor on it or maybe some kind of little motor. And I didn't see it. I ran across this article in Florida. It was an X-Fish. And the X-Fish, and I'll show it to you, it's here in the garage.
Okay.
Has a 3.5 Tohatsu on the back of it. Well, it has a little, you can stand up on it, one guy deal. And I'd go back into Bahia early in the morning before sunrise, drop in right before the overpass, and sneak in there, go to the back. You could miss it. And if you look at some of the photographs back there, there's a fence that runs all the way back west to the main area. And that has a channel that funnels from the back out to the main bay. Well, you know what's coming on an outgoing tide, all that nursery grounds back there. These fish just sit there and just indulge themselves some massive amounts. Well, a bait caster with the topwater's too much. You get a fly rod out there, and then I had some fun. I get pulled around there like the old man in the sea.
Really?
Those huge reds would just pull me around. Finally, I'd stake myself out and tug him over, let him go. And I did that for a couple of years. One day I stayed too late, and I knew it, but I was having too much fun catching fish. And I came out of there. I saw this white Ford pickup come over about 100 yards. I could tell he was taking pictures. And I didn't pay any attention to it, loaded up my little boat, and off I came back here to the funeral home. I just pulled in, and I noticed the federal game warden pulled into my parking lot. I said, crap, here we go. So I walked out there, and the young lady walks out. Sir, were you at Bahia this morning? I was. Did you go past the signs we have there where you're not supposed to go past? I said, well, not really. It says, well, we got pictures of your little skiff going to the back and coming out. I mean, I was caught red-handed. I said, yeah, I guess I did. And she says, well, I'm going to give you a ticket. And I said, well, I figured you would. She said, you can pay the fine, which was $350 or $450, and it'll be all settled out. But if you ever do it again, it's a felony. I said, crap. I happen to know, I'm going to keep this off the record. A friend of mine, won't mention any names, in the Upper Valley, told me, and he's the main man in all this region. He covers everything. He said, don't pay the ticket. Just be patient with me. Did you get off their little kayak? No, I didn't. I never touched land.
If you're enjoying this episode or any others and want to support the project, I would highly encourage you to check out my new book, Laguna. 288 pages with over 300 images and illustrations, containing excerpts by Eric Glass, Chuck Nizer, Tim O'Brien, Bill Gamble, Ben Paschal, Ryan Sparrow, Michaela Elliott, Rick Hartman, Jaco Lucas, John Pilmer, Corey Bauman, Brian Robinson, and myself. Available at select stores, or you can order it directly at buylagunabook.myshopify.com.
Did you keep any fish? Only keep one for dinner. That's it. Okay. He says, sit tight. About 3 months later, I ran into him at the gun club in Mission. I said, what's going on? I said, sit tight. Okay. Never heard anything about it. Saw him later down to some little sporting clay shoot. I said, what happened? Forget it. It's over. It's done. Cleaned it. He said, if you do it again, it's a felon. You're going to lose your license. You can't work.
Wow.
And they'll put your picture in the post office just to scare me. And I thought, hell. Now, all I can do is go look at it from the air. And it just bumps me so bad. I mean, you have no idea having that paradise. And you could hear the Port Isabel band playing in the background. And you're catching these monster fish and some snook. They weren't very big. Some trout, but mainly the redfish. It was just out of this world.
Wow. What year was that?
It's been about 5 years, 6 years.
Wow. Do you have any pictures from being back there?
I do.
I would love to see some of those pictures from being back there.
It's just unreal. It's the most prestigious area in South Texas during August, September, a little bit of October. And by now they're out in the Gulf. They migrated out.
Yeah.
Well, you see pictures of the guys at Gaiman Bridge, how they rate that, you know. Yep. That's one way in and one way out.
Yep. That's true. Yeah. When did you meet Tom Kilgore?
Tom and I have been friends. I was working in Harlingen in the early '87, and he was a school teacher at Harlingen High School. And also good buddies with Gary Gunzel, who's gone now. And we fished the bay. We tore up this, and he had I remember we called it the Casket Runner, a 14-foot ABS boat with the 20 tiller handle Mercury on the back. Tom bought it for me and Gary, and he fished it for a number of years. The fishing was just tremendous because there was no pressure. Nobody was here. You guys weren't here. You don't even know. You weren't even born yet. And it was just, there was a time that Tom and I went, it was the winter months. There was a big freeze, and you know what happens during a freeze. The fish congregated at the jetties. We dropped in at Port Isabel, came around to Boca Chica in the surf. I think the limit back then was 20 reds or 15 reds and 10 or 10. Wow. We had fish swimming in the bottom of his boat. And we started counting. We said, Tom, we better start counting these, you know. So we did. We had the legal amount. We went back out. When we got back to the boat ramp, sure enough, Parks and Wildlife sitting there. I said, hey, check it. No problem. We're legal. And we were. But I'm glad Parks and Wildlife stopped that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're just raping the system.
Big time.
And they're doing the same thing with the snook at the Port of Brownsville. People go under there, the grain elevator area in that part, and just dip them up. You know, snook are so touchy with cold weather. But it was something else just to see it. Just to see it.
Wow. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about personally was, you know, being able to fish for big trout on the sand and stuff like that. Do you have any particular stories of that?
I do, especially with Tom.
Yep.
He was trying to set a record there, Airport Cove. Pretty close to what Bud Rowland's been at.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't far. And it would have been October, November. I want to say November. And there was trout in there. I remember fishing a stick bait, looked like a needlefish. You wouldn't jerk it, just kind of reel it in with my little bait caster. And I made some explosions on that thing, was just tremendous. Now, Tom caught some big trout, but he never caught that big 10, 12 pounder that he was looking for. I think he had one on, and I'd pull him around. And, you know, we did our homework, and he was an addict. Tom was very serious his younger days.
I heard.
He had better knees, too.
He also told me that.
Around. But he was just so avid in fly fishing and really good at his technique. He was really good at it. And I'll tell you another little story about fishing Mexico in my little airplane. We'd go down to the third pass, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth pass. Another area that was virgin to the area. Nobody really fished it. Old man Putin knew about it. He'd take a brick, wrap it in aluminum foil. He'd drop it on wherever he wanted to land his airplane. He'd drop it. If the brick disappeared to soft sand, can't land. You know, you don't want to turn your airplane over.
Gotcha.
But you could go over that pass and you could see redfish, trout, masses, kind of like Bahia.
Yeah.
Because nobody was there. They weren't commercially fishing it. It was just paradise. That went on from, well, I was still coming out of high school. It was probably, I was 17, 18 years old. And we did that till I was about 25 when I went to mortuary school. And it was great. I mean, just paradise, because that was, nobody was there. When nobody's there, guess what? There's a fish.
What other places from the Laguna Madre, both, like, at least mostly like the Laguna Madre that I can resonate with, were you able to experience in its infancy?
Besides, it was so massive back in those days. South Bay really produced some good fishing, and it was convenient. It was easy. Drop into Jim's Pier, go back in there. Nothing to it. Gene Webb wanted to follow me one time all the way back in that west corner. I said, Gene, you got to be careful. You got to be right on my tail because of those oyster beds. And if there's no sun, you can't see them. Just, we were talking about that. Well, Gene did stay on my tail one day. There went his prop.
Yeah.
And, but that was another, back in that west section, not many people could get back in there in those days. You had to know how the hell to get in and get out.
Yeah.
And just get in there. You could get out and wade fish, or you could pole around. And a lot of big fish, you know, massive drum area too in the very back. But it was just great fishing. You know, it's just so much.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned to me on the phone a couple of days ago was that you used to be able to stake off kind of like around like 3/4 up the way to Mansfield, or maybe I got it wrong, but it was off the sand basically, and that the fish would just come to you, that they would just kind of get redirected straight to you.
That is a fact. Tom Kilgore and I think we're in his boat, and on a big tide, you get up there and you just sit. We knew basically the fish were coming. They'd be migrating north to south, and here they come. You could see them pushing wakes on a calm day, and we just sit there. I mean, you could miss. How can you miss with a fly rod? Put a good presentation on it. We did top water and all that, but we always enjoyed our fly fishing. That was more fun than anything. And get out, walk around, knee-deep water, thigh-deep. You know, it was just fantastic. I mean, beautiful. You know how clear that water is.
Yeah.
Caribbean water. You can see those big trout, big fish coming at you. It's paradise.
No, I totally
and no
agree.
boats. Nobody was there.
And I can't imagine what it's like fishing in that scenario, like where you have fish coming at you. That must have been something just different. It must have been something so amazing.
It's been there forever. And Kilgore's the one who turned me on to it. With my airplane, I started studying it more, and I could see the migration of fish heading back south. And usually the migration was north to south on that bar, on that shelf. It's just like you said, you go in there in a low tide, you end up pushing your boat out of there. You got to be careful. You know what the hell you're doing.
Which is, I'll tell that story. So yesterday, I got up early, and I really wanted to prioritize fishing in the East Cut. And so I drove from South Padre all the way over damn near to the East Cut. And it was blowing like 25, 27, and there was no sun. And I was running in what I thought was about 7 inches of water. And when I stopped, I realized I was in about 4, maybe 3.8.
You can't tell the depth.
Not when there's no viz.
Yeah.
And I like those first, just pushing it, those first 25 feet was the hardest 25 feet I've ever had to push. Because as I would push harder, the way the water was flowing through the tunnel was causing sand to drag into the tunnel, causing the boat to slow down. So it was like just getting it into that next 1/4 inch of water was all it took, but also was the hardest part of the whole process. But yeah, I completely agree. Like it's that the bay here is very interesting to where if you can't see it, and the boats that we run, sometimes it's just hard to tell like how deep it really is. Yeah, you can end up bottoming out very easily.
I've been there, done that with my Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have an HPX. I got an old Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had 4 different motors on it. I won't sell it because it's a solid boat for the port. No tunnel. And I was back on that West Bay area. Same scenario. Fish everywhere. And I said, I could hear the motor start to hesitate. Uh-oh, let's get out of here. Down it went.
Mm-hmm.
I just grabbed my rod, got the dog out. We started walking, just fishing to, a couple of hours. We ain't going to do anything till the tide comes in there.
Yeah.
There's no way of pushing it. And that's what I ended up doing, pushing it, got the troll motor, find a little hole, kind of find out, and boop, out we come. But nightmare to be back there that long.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because I was wondering how much it would have sucked if, the tide was just an extra, maybe 1/10 of an inch shallower. Then I would have not been able to push that out.
That brings me to another story about Kilgore. His wife called me 6 a.m. She says, Allie, Tom didn't come home last night. He went fishing. I said,
I heard the story.
I said, I think I know where he's at. So I got in the airplane, put a little care package together, some coffee in a little mug, pan dulce, banana, an apple, and a piece of bread, and off I go. Put in a little zip, sealed it up with a little waterproof jacket. Anyway, and it didn't take me long. I could see that little ski barge sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. So I come over buzzing him and came back around the next time, opened my window and dropped my little care package out.
You get a phone call. You were saying,
Tom, anyway, I dropped off the care package to him and came back around and waved at him and had some water in there for him. He was riding sundown, same scenario. Couldn't tell how deep he was, and down he went. He just spent the night.
That's pretty much what you have to do.
Yeah, I just spent the night. Next day he was out fishing a couple of 100 yards from the boat, and I knew what the hell he was having a good time, and he was fine. Mm-hmm. And I got back we didn't have cell phones back then. I called his wife from Arroyo City. I said, he's fine. He got stuck. He's okay. He'll be home. But those are little things like that,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just a cool story to say. I had a breakfast airdrop to me from my friend's plane while I was stuck on the bay. Who were other people you got to fish with? People that you not at the same level of Tom in regards. What I mean is, did you spend time with guys like Chuck Skates and Wade Duncan, et cetera, on the boat?
Rick Guerrero was a close friend of mine. We fished religiously. He had a nose. What was that boat? Had a window in the front. Anyway, we used to drop at Mansfield. Winter months, December, January, February, go clear back to the East Cut, not the land cut, not the East Cut, land cut, should I say. Nobody was there. I mean, we get there 10 in the morning. We could fill up an ice chest. Rick is a game hog. He loves to bring fish home and give it to his cuñadas and the compadre and his mother-in-law.
Abuelita.
There's no ending when he stops fishing. I said, Rick, we can't give huge trout, big reds. I mean, and I fished that for years in my little John Dory. It was great. And I remember one time I was fishing and I was just slaying the fish. Here comes a game warden. I said, man, you guys picked a hell of a time to check me right now. I said, come on, check me. It's okay. The fish ain't going anywhere. And they went through it. Everything's legal. Off they went. But the amount of fish was just amazing back in those days. And it's pretty much off the intercoastal, back off to the east side. One day, I get back there and I said, what the hell's going on? There's no fish here. Something's wrong. So I went up. I could see back where the shoreline, it looked like somebody had taken and moved some grass back in there on a low tide. I said, I went back in there, pulled in there, got out of the boat. I could see where these guys drug their gill nets back off in there. There were still scales and some, dead mullet and perch. And I said, those son of a bitches from Corpus came down here. There was a jet black boat. I think he ran 2 Mercuries on the back of it. That was a mother boat. And these guys would go in there, put their gill nets, rape it in the middle of the morning, put it on the black boat, and that black boat went back to Corpus.
Those dirty fucks.
And they just raped it. Finally, game wardens got a hold of those guys.
Yeah.
But they did a number on us for several months. Big time. Big time. And it was living proof. You could tell what the hell's going on.
And that hindered the fishing inside the land cut?
Not so much that little wad of fish that was feeding on the bait in that area were just raped. They were gone.
Yeah.
It took them a while for, another set of fish to come back in there.
Uh-huh.
But it was, it was obvious what these guys were doing. And that was a known crook. I mean, he was famous for it.
What was his name?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I really don't. No. I know he was a black boat. He had 2 engines on the back. Extremely fast in those days.
What was fast back then?
60, 50.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Now some polling skips go 90.
It's ridiculous. 500 horsepower.
Damn
you really
near.
need a 500 horsepower to run the boat?
Well, the guys running the tarpon tournament, stuff like that, that's what they use it for, really. It's just getting to the spot first.
In Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
You go from one area to another, picks the tide up over there.
Yeah, you don't really need that down here. So Rick Guerrero was one of the guys that you spent time fishing with?
Rick, his dad, Tito, great fisherman, very close. I call him my dad. Had some massive, great times fishing together. We went down take him down to Six Pass in my airplane. Have a little bitty ice chest in the back. Once we filled it up, that's it. Everything we got to let go. But we'll never see that again.
Yeah.
I'd never see it again.
Yeah. There was someone had been telling me that because of cartel influence past the third pass, that fishing was starting to kind of bounce back because they weren't allowing the trot liners and the long liners to actually quote unquote work.
That's a fact. Bradley Barreau was just down there with Mike, Nolyatsa Camp. And they were catching 20-inch snook, 21, nothing big, but lots of them, which is great because they're coming through. That means the gill nets aren't really affecting that area yet. Now, whether the cartels has anything to do with that, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the exact reason, but I was told that it was bouncing back.
Hopefully they'll take care of that. They really need to get those damn gill nets out. It'll never happen because Mexico's Mexico.
Yeah.
Dineto's dinero. That's it. And but that's paradise down there too. I mean, there's a lot of good fishing on that Mexican beach.
I mean, just not even the beach, but if you look at what the true Lower Laguna Madre is, the American Lower Laguna Madre is actually the Middle Laguna Madre, and the whole Lower Laguna Madre is double the length and double the width of the entire 2 upper and middle Laguna Madres combined. I cannot imagine what that's like. That is where you need 60-mile-an-hour boats to get across the bay.
And they do it with the little ponca deal with 40s,
Yep.
And I've seen video. You have 2 of them. They're catching these massive trout just all you want, all day long.
It was the first video I saw recently of some fishing like that was some guys in this beat up panga, and the floor is covered in redfish and trout, and it's just wow. That's what it's supposed to look like up here, but obviously without them being all dead. It's just damn.
It's a massive amount of fish up there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't imagine what that was like.
And they haven't been hit by gill nets. That's what, once those gill nets get in there, it's over. They take advantage of them.
Here.
Sure.
Okay. We mentioned Rick, we mentioned Tito Guerrero. Anyone else in terms of influences? I know that you directly stated that those other 2 people were the Lefty Cray of down here, but one of the things I've learned a lot from talking to guys like Tom, Wade, different other people who've been there and done it almost as long as you have, is that back then there was no real literature or videos or documentation on fly fishing, so the only saltwater information they'd get would be from the people over in Florida.
From Florida, watching your Saturday morning matinees,
yeah,
sport fishing shows, watching what they were doing, the kind of fly. Well, streamers work everywhere, worldwide, and the fly lines came a long way. The reels is no big deal, but the fly line came a long way. Some of your better fly lines, Scientific Angler, Cortland, all that, they always had better fly lines. Cleaning your lines, taking care of your equipment. Go out there with good leaders, that helped a bunch. Good hooks, good sharp hooks. And Bradley Barreau, another good friend of mine from Harlingen, he's from Brownsville, but he lives in Harlingen now. He fished with me a lot. I had a garage apartment in Arroyo City. Bradley had a little trailer there too. It was heaven because we could drop in and go be at the mouth, fish horsehead. We could go back. We could run to Mansfield. We could be at the Saucer and 30 minutes,
30 minutes is a saucer.
Well, taking our time.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, from the mouth of the arroyo. I mean, it was unlimited. That's excluding the flatty session. I mean, we had a lot of flounder back then.
You were telling me a little bit about how that mouth was just so prolific when it came to big flounder.
Massive amounts. Back in the days, God almighty, I could still remember, just throw a red worm out there. You're going to catch it. You name it, you're going to catch it. I can't tell you how many TIFF tournaments I won just fishing the mouth of the arroyo. And then we went back up the arroyo for snook. And I don't know what made me do it, but I kept this one snook alive, took it back to the weigh-in, and I released it in front of everybody. And they gave me the Sportsman Award for sport, whatever it was, but gave me a beautiful trophy. I didn't expect that. I was just trying to be, conservationist. Maybe somebody would pick it up. And a couple of guys picked it up, and they started releasing fish at keep them alive. So it did work. And those are back in my younger days. I was full of piss and vinegar, and I could hang all day. But nowadays it's different. But there's a lot of snook in that river, let me tell you.
Yeah, Larry.
It's not what it used to be, but there's a lot of tarpon in it too. It's a major nursery. It really is.
Larry Haynes was one of the people that I know that actually had figured it out more or less with Craig Oatman to catch a bigger snook on fly in the arroyo. Like I think his biggest snook he reported was 36 or 38.
Yeah. That's some 34s.
Yeah, some big ones.
But I was throwing some big plugs too. Lip baits. But there's some huge redfish in there too. People don't realize what's killing us is the barge traffic. Those big barges going in there and they're turning up the bottom, the sediments, and where's your bait fish, your shrimp? It's on the bottom. They're ruining it. I mean, Tom would tell you that. He brought it to my attention. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's going to get worse again.
Yeah.
Because all those chemicals, gasoline's got to go to the Port of Harlingen.
One of the things that you told me on the phone was that you think that South Bay should be completely closed down.
I firmly believe that. If they would cut that off, no motorized boats, they did it in Florida. They proved their point there, and the fishing came back immensely. Now, whether Elon Musk is going to let them do that, I doubt it.
Yeah.
He's got hovercrafts now going back and forth.
Really?
His engineers taking them back off the island, past the SpaceX. And I've seen them run over the grasslands, marshlands there, from up above I'm talking about. And you're not going to beat the world's richest man,
Yeah.
But that could be addressed. It really can. I think Bahia should be opened up. And I'm not talking motorized. I'm thinking kayaks, get a permit, whether it's $150 or $200 for the year. Give that money to Parks and Wildlife. It's feds property. But if you think about it, there's a spot as you go out the arroyo. People fish that little ditch going back south.
Fuck. Yeah.
Now,
I
that's
ran in
legal.
there.
They let them do that because there's nobody there to chase them down.
Are you talking about, so there's 3 passes, right? There's the first one that goes into like that airboat water and stuff like that. And the second one.
Right before you go out the arroyo.
Oh, so yeah, Parker Lake?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think one year I caught 3 big reds, and hell, I was leading the damn fly fishing division. I was ounces away from the main guys with my fly rod. I got beat, of course, because I wasn't catching flounder.
Yeah.
But that place produced some huge redfish.
And the tower boats and the shallow sport
Rick
guys
still
got
does
in
it.
there. Yep.
Rick's in there all the time, still doing it. Him and his wife, Sandy. She's excellent.
Yeah.
As lady compared, she's tough. We've got some good video of her too. Need to talk to her.
Wow. Yeah, no, I've heard that Parker used to be quite the big fish area, and the issue was that after like all the tower boats started getting in there, they started kind of running everything amok, and that's why you don't get as many big fish as you used to back there. Kind of, similar to the whole bay, really. It's when people start running in these areas, it kind of kills it.
Well, it's also the migration, the tide, how much bait you have back in there. Those fish will follow the bait.
Yeah, but in a nursery style of ecosystem, I mean, that bait's pretty much everywhere.
True, but there again, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
It's August, September. That's when those big fish are in there.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I like to fish the mouth, the mouth of the arroyo. No, excuse me, mouth of the river. Early in the morning. I met this old man down there, had no teeth. He's got throwing a huge net, 12, 15 foot, waist deep, just an artist at throwing this damn thing. And he gets some nice snook. You know, he knew where the holes were at. Y me dijo, hijo, ese pozo ya, cuando baja el sol, ahí es donde quieres estar. Really? He says, te garantizo. Okay. I was throwing these big 1 ounce jigs, flare hair. I'd make them myself with the bait caster, 9-foot rod, 40-pound shock leader. I mean, I was deadly. I couldn't miss. And I found a hole. It wasn't hard to find. There was some huge snook in there. Just what you said, 35s, 33s. It was just to catch them. And the Mexicans say, no lo tiras, dámelo, dámelo. I said, wait a minute. I told them a fib story because I didn't want them on my ass. Yo vengo a cuidar estos pescados. Yo vengo de parte de la ley.
I'm from Texas Park and Wildlife.
No vengo Parks and Wildlife, pero los estoy protejando para que ustedes no lo puedan llevar todo para la casa. And they finally snapped that, I wasn't taking anything home. I just wanted to catch them. It was paradise. It was tremendous. I remember one time, I still remember the date. It was October 15th, about 10 years ago. And I was sitting here at the funeral home and I said, man, it's just, I can sense it. I feel it. I loaded up my dogs, got the girlfriend, sandwiches, a couple of beers, and off we went down there. And it wasn't long. I mean, nobody really had hit that little pocito. You'd have to walk the shelf, throw back to the north, to the hole. And I mean, you didn't have to be a rocket scientist. You could see the swirls. You could see the bait jumping. It was just, activity was there. It didn't take me long. I had 2 huge log trout. I put them on my little skirt there, and I brought them back in. I put them on a rod holder right there by the beach so everybody could see them. Just so the tourists were freaking out. I went back out there and just slayed the snook. Kept one fish, let the trout go. And my girlfriend said, why don't you keep the trout? I said, sweetheart, I don't want trout. I got snook. There's nothing better eating than snook. And but went back I bet I caught 15, 20 huge snook, big trout, not that many reds, but I mean, the snook were there. Came back the next day, not one bump. They migrated out with the bait. They went south. And I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. I talked to my buddy Bill Sturmer in Florida. He said, they follow the bait. They keep going. That's where I bought my Maverick from Bill.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, on that topic of migration, I'm curious to know if you've ever been able to see like when those big trout start mating, when they get all schooled up.
I wasn't in the thick of it like Tom did. Tom was right in the thick of those,
Yeah.
He was more into it,
I know, I totally agree. But okay, so I guess the question I have is, what was one of your best days that you remember being out there, like, when it was in its heyday?
Best days? Just to go get on the boat and go look, It didn't matter if I caught fish. I'm out there.
But you were going to catch fish anyways.
I know, but hell, that was easy.
Yeah.
And I never fished spinning reels. I don't fish a spinning reel today. Everything's bait casting. But I love to throw top water. And if I can get them or I can see them, I always keep a fly rod in the boat. You never know. You got to have that for insurance purposes.
Of course.
And it's kick ass just to go study and see what they're doing. And if they're hungry, and how many times you've been out there and you put that perfect presentation, that fish just turns away.
No, thank you.
Not today. That's okay. No big deal. I understand.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah. You'll get hungry, eventually. But that's the thrill of fishing,
Yeah.
And I saw it the best years because nobody was really in the bay like I hounded it,
Yeah, of
early
course.
years.
Well, what were some things that you got to see in terms of fish activity or behavior that, is just not even a feasible thought now?
Green Island, for example.
Okay.
There's a spot in there. I mean, not only could you catch flounder in that little channel, it's not vividly visual now, but back then in the old days, it was just silk. There was a flatty hole. I mean, you could destroy the flatties in their bunches. You leave that, go back behind Green Island, pole around there, let the wind carry you over that little shell. There's a big trout. No big deal. You catch a couple of those. Back off into deeper water, there's the reds. It was paradise. How many boats did you see all day? 1 or 2 during the week? Not weekend, during the week. And I always made an initiative to fish during the week because no crowds, no traffic, more fish. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
There's an old man that lived there at the trailer park with us. He and his girlfriend, he fished live bait, live shrimp. Woody, we call him Woody. Anyway, he would go saucer. He'd catch some of the biggest trout you ever seen in your life. I waited for him in the afternoon, go help him fillet his fish. And he'd catch massive. I said, Woody, why do you want to kill these big trout? The good ones, the good eating ones, or the little ones? Yeah, but I caught him, didn't I? Okay, I guess you're right. Could tell him no.
Yeah. Yeah. My biggest trout I ever caught was actually at the saucer. It was 30 inches, 9.5 pounds on a 6-weight.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good fish.
Yeah, it was a really good fish. It was my favorite my favorite fish.
I had one at Bahia, go about 34.
Tell me the story about that. I'm curious. Or maybe like some of the things that you got to see in Bahia that, now when you sit here at the risk of a felony for going again, that, still burn in your mind that you're like, oh.
God, it kills me.
Yeah.
It kills me. Get in that airplane, go look, and you see it's just vividly, there's fish everywhere. I just saw some massive drum, big drum. Man, that's great to look at, but the reds are gone. But just seeing that natural nursery and how it's grown and how the grass came about, I saw this develop from nothing. And there it was. And I knew it was going to develop into something special. There's another spot just a little bit east behind the Walmart, Port Isabel. It could be the same scenario could happen there real easy. All they need is a channel.
Really?
And those fish are going to come in. I try to get to Richard Moore and I've told him I've tried to push him and he needs to push the big boys and let them open it up. They got the dredging material right there.
Yeah.
It would take nothing for them to do it.
And they're actually going to start using a lot of resources, start building the new bridge too, the second bridge over to the island.
You think that's going to help us?
I go back and forth with it for 2 reasons.
Structure.
Yes. Well, not only that, but now we're going to have, a handful more of a good amount of more water funneling through, which, all I'm trying to say on that is all those fish that you see that are corralled by the big bridge and stuff like that, who's to say that those fish don't eventually migrate over, a mile to 4 miles north of where they are, or not those, but other ones. And that's a whole other little ecosystem where the water flows through. And I'm willing to bet that the Gaswell area will probably become more of a fishing spot than it is now. Because right now people treat the Gaswell like a highway. But there's guys like you, Tom, and Wade who are catching some of the biggest trout of their lives in the Gaswell.
That's a great area.
I agree.
Here's one thing I want to bring to your attention. Night fishing, shiner fishing.
I wish you didn't say that because I've been planning on night fishing for so long.
Well,
I'm about to get...
fine. If you go do it legally, how do these mojaos do it? Think about it. They go get their shiners. I did it when I was young. We didn't even take a net. We took a gaff. We just gaff those trout, dump them in the ice chest. Was it fun? Yeah, it was a big fight. Let the girlfriend fight a big trout. They were 30 inches, 29 inches, lots of redfish. But I mean, you could night fish and just slay the big trout. I mean, really kill them. And I'm sure that's still going on with the Mexicanos. They don't know when to stop.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at this point just because I've seen and I've heard so many other stories of the untold stuff of what goes on at Gaiman's. And I've heard of guys that are just putting giant weighted jig hooks, throwing it across the channel and bumping it and hooking 34-inch snook in the gut. And stuff like that is just what the fuck are you doing?
Where's Parks and Wildlife?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm the one getting checked at the ramp.
Oh yeah. I've been checked.
Yeah. I'd rather you fish Bahia Grande than, that guy foul hook 3 snook that are 34.
And they all go home.
Right?
Every one of them.
Oh, I've already explored that topic on this podcast before. It's a headache.
You're not going to get anywhere with it. No. They need somebody there all the time.
Yeah.
Policing it daily.
I think so too. I honestly think that I think I had made this argument a while ago about how just having presence there would also diminish the amount of people who go, period.
Put a pickup there with the emblem on it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to
There's
be
some
difficult.
mafiosos there.
Yeah.
I got a good buddy, Loco Manatu. He's part of that gang. And they like him because he's at my age. And yeah, locals, you know. And I said, God damn, Manatu. They said, man, bro, these guys are raza, vato. They 12 packs and big watos, and they live there.
Paltaco.
They don't do nothing but fish and sell their marijuana and having the time of their life.
No, literally.
Yeah, right at the tree. I got video of it, you know.
From the plane or what? You're doing the DA's work for them?
I quit that. It's unreal.
I'm curious to know how you got the plane. What made you want to get a plane in the first place? And go
My
that way?
dad was an instructor in the war.
Mm-hmm.
And at 14, he bought me a J3 Cub. So I didn't even have a license.
At 14, he got you a boat. Or a
An
plane.
airplane. I was flying solo at 14. And I'd land where Academy's at right now. That used to be Malding Field. You'd have to buzz it and get the horses and the cows off the runway. It was an 80 horsepower J3 Cub. I had more fun in that damn thing. Gary Gunzel, who's gone now, used to go with me. I put him in the back seat, one guy in front, one guy in back. We'd go out there. We'd go to just check out the bay, and it was a hoot. I mean, put the windows down. And Dad loved to go duck hunting out to Jackass Flats.
Where is Jackass Flats? What is Jackass Flats?
North of Loma Alta Gun Club. All
Okay.
that flat area. As you leave Port of Brownsville back going to
Got it.
Laguna Heights. It was paradise. One day I'm out there shooting ducks and landed the airplane and out there in my underwear picking up the ducks. And here comes this pickup. Oh, shit. Guy says, come here, son. What the hell are you doing here? Well, I thought this is Jesse Danette's property. My dad has permission to hunt here. This ain't Jesse Danette's property. That fence over there is his property. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me your gun. He took it to the constable, and Daddy went and got it later, but scared the shit out of me. Here I am in underwear, and his daughters are in the pickup, you know.
Well, that's funny.
At 14, I was a bandit. You know, at 16, now I got a high-performance single-engine Cessna 150. I'm cruising now, brother. I can go places. You know, I'm flying to Corpus. I'm going to Third Pass. And, you know, I'd fly down there for the morning fishing session, be back by 5 o'clock. You had to clear customs by 5 or you get fined. Not fined, but you had a prorated $25 fee. But it was paradise. I mean, I had it made in the shade. I still got the airplane running like a top. Really runs really good.
Wow.
I got 3,200 hours on it, 3,100 hours on it. I've done a top overhaul in all these years, but I baby the engine. I don't enforce it. I take care of it.
I've had a conversation with two other folk that I know of that had their own airplanes. Wyman Minzer, the state photographer of Texas, and Tim Clancy, the owner of New Water Boats. And they've told me some cool stories. Most notably, though, I've not to jinx anything, but I have heard of quite a few like emergencies in the air. Have you ever had an emergency in the air?
I've had two. I had one going to mortuary school. I had 2 dogs in the airplane, my Golden and the Lab.
Uh-huh.
And I was flying above the clouds, 3,000 feet. And motor starts sputtering. I said, oh, crap, what's this? I know I got gas. Well, damn prop stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you go to emergency frequency, 121.5. Told them where I was at, basically, north of Palacios, and had to go back through the clouds, concentrate on my instruments to fly through the clouds. And got stabilized, got my airspeed going, broke out of the clouds at about 2,000, 1,500 roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was looking at me. There was a big caliche road right under me. Circled around, landed on the caliche road, got out of the airplane. I said, what the hell happened here? So I went over to the gas tanks are up on the wings. So I opened one tank, woof, relieve the pressure. There's a pit-out tube going to that tank to relieve the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
A bug got in there, occluded it. How the hell that happened, I don't know. It's never, ever happened before. But relieve the pressure, relieve the other tank, because they both feed into one system to the carburetor. Here comes DPS. There's a helicopter on my ass. And I mean, oh, shit, now what am I doing? Sat there for about 30 minutes. DPS says, we checked with Houston, and they say if you can run the airplane 10 minutes on the ground, we'll let you go. Well, I did. Off I went, back to Houston, back to mortuary school.
Wow.
But you got to have levels of
I bet.
to be cool, calm, and collected. And Daddy taught me that. Just take it easy. You're going to survive. If you get killed in that thing, you're a dumbass. You're a flat dumbass to get killed in a Cessna 150. You know? John F. Kennedy, prime example. He should never have been in bad weather like that. He didn't know how to, that was too much airplane for him.
Yeah.
Way too much. They had a video on it last couple of days ago about it.
Huh.
And he just didn't have an instrument rating. I don't have instrument rating, but I flew enough instruments with my dad to know how to fly in clouds.
Interesting. What is the difficulty of flying in clouds? I've never really explored that topic.
You have a horizontal artificial horizon.
Okay.
So you know if your wings are tilted, you got a needle and ball. If it gets out of whack, you're not flying straight and level. That's what keeps you straight. And you watch your airspeed, watch your altitude, check your altimeter. Pretty basic, it is.
Okay.
It's fun. To me, it's fun. I'd rather be up there than down here. Safer up there.
That's true.
Too many Mexicanos down here. Road rage bullshit, you know?
You're also not wrong. I was trailering my boat a couple of years ago, and for that, like in that week, I had almost gotten in like 4 accidents. This is on the island, and you know, you'd look at the license plates,
Monterrey.
dumps, and it's like, oh. And so I remember I was with my aunt, and I was venting to her about what was going on. And in that moment, someone had cut me off while I had my boat attached to the back, cut me off and like really coming close. And like I got pissed and I like honked, whatever. And we looked.
Ain't worth it.
And then we looked at the license plate, Tamps. And it was like,
that's how they drive.
God, man. Like, but thing is, you know, like respect the rules at least, but whatever. What's on the second page?
Pretty much what I've gone through. The Maverick, I've had 4 engines on the back of it. My little John Doerr, I've had 2 engines on it. Casket runner, I explained that the boat I sold to Tom, 14-foot ABS plastic with the 20 horsepower Mercury. Snook fishing up the Arroyo, Bahia Grande, amazing. And I wish I could go back there, my ex-fish, because it's just so immaculate. I mean, if you ever could go back to a spot where you're by yourself and the fish are just exploding all around you, nobody's there. Port Isabel High School band playing in the background. I mean, it is heaven. I mean, where else can you go? And I just rave sitting there and just watch. Sometimes I wouldn't even fish. I just sit there and listen.
Were you thinking to yourself, man, this is so good, it should be illegal?
If you just need to see, you know, Richard Moore has a video of it, but
he showed me.
You need to see it from the water perspective and the bird life and the pelicans and then the ducks and it's just heaven.
Did you hear about that hailstorm that was in, I believe, Corpus area that killed like a bunch of brown pelicans?
I heard something about it.
That was crazy. Yeah. Like I saw one video of a guy under just one of the houses on stilts, like, you know, one of the houses on the water, and the boat's getting destroyed by like golf size hail, and you like, oh my God.
It's South Texas.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember some grapefruit size hail right here when I was going to college.
Yeah.
I told the professor, I need to go move my car. He said, you ain't going anywhere. Sit your ass down.
You ain't going nowhere, mijo. Sit down.
Yeah. Suburban to be here tomorrow, you know. But South Texas got some violent weather. I haven't seen it as bad as it used to be. Times are changing.
Yeah.
But in our early days, you damn right, when you see rolling black clouds coming over the bay, I'll tell you a story. Yeah. I was in my John Doerr up around Gaswell Flats. About this time of year, October, November, you could see the front coming, and it was gray.
Oh, that black line.
Black, rolling. I said, let's go, man. We don't have a chance. I was by myself, I think. I can't remember if anybody was following me. Anyway, I couldn't even have time to turn around and head back to the island. Here this thing comes running up on me. All I could do was get my little plastic, wrap around me, and just sit there and let it come over me. I started bailing water out of the boat. When it finally let me go, I was in front of Jim's Pier.
Really?
I shit you not. That's how fast I thought, man, this thing's going to turn over. But I just kept bailing water.
Wow. And that's like what, like 9 miles, 8 miles?
I was in it pretty long time. I've had 40 minutes.
Good God,
I
dude.
mean, good gust, 50, 60 knot winds, lightning, thunder. But it's just those storms were massive and scary,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, one time, actually the first time I ever took my Maverick out, I had a 2003 HPXT Maverick. I was out with my mom and Rick Hartman, and we were fishing inside of Payton's. And out of nowhere, this big wind comes out of the east, and it picks up to about 40 miles an hour. And it was one of those things where it was like such an awkward angle that we had to drive basically around Green Island, around Bird, and then kind of come with the angle because it was slightly southeast to kind of like come into the arroyo. But like, oh, and mind you, there was also like, I don't think there was rollers in the arroyo, but there was big waves in the arroyo, considering it was like, you know, Bird Island could only do so much blockage, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a pretty hairy, like, that was a pretty hairy one. I try not to really get out there in really shitty conditions anymore. The last time I did was when the black drum moved into the sand in August, but it wasn't really shitty. It was just like, you know, it was raining. We were sight fishing, you know, tailing, backing black drum in 4 inches of water, and it's raining. That was cool. But like, I wouldn't do it again. Like, I wouldn't do like the hard stuff again.
It's not worth it. No. I've been at Mansfield before, you know, how the channel.
Yes. Yeah.
That can get, I remember seeing it one that looked like 4 or 5 foot swells in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've rode it like a surfboard. I just hung onto my John Doors like a surfboard, rode it up and came back with the wind into the channel.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't want to, but I had no choice. That was it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Moments like that is when you wish you had, you know, a giant tower boat.
Yeah.
It was a big freeboard and everything.
Yeah. That happened to me at Airport Cove one time. The fishing was just tremendous before the front.
Airport Cove can get so rough, though, because it's right next to all that deep water.
You got north wind. You got to follow the shoreline to get back to Port Isabel. I rode that many times, just trying to sneak my way back in there.
Did you ever spend time fishing the actual shoreline, that shoreline that you just talked about?
Not really. Yeah, Airport Cove, yes. I did my homework in there. Tom and I really fished that real hard.
But what about the outside? Like, so the reason I ask is because, like, you know, I see like the way people fish in the land cut and some of the way, you know, stuff like that. And it's like that whole bowl is so close to deep water.
Let me back up a little bit. Observation Tower on the Laguna, right there at the Atascosa Refuge.
Uh-huh.
During one of the TIFF tournaments, Gunzel was in there in his, well, he was in his not an airboat, but a jet drive boat. He was catching massive amounts of fish in those potholes in the middle of the afternoon, like 2, 3 in the afternoon for TIFF.
Huh.
You could only keep 3, but it was a massive school of fish. And does it exist now? Not really, because I fly it all the time. Cameron County Airport's right there.
Yeah.
I cruise in there, wash off my airplane, get back and fly the shoreline, see what's going on. The kayakers are always there.
Yeah.
They used to drag big stringers behind them. I don't barely name 1 or 2 fish now.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be. The bay is not what it used to be.
A lot of areas aren't what they used to be. What's cool that I learned is, at least for fly fishing and sight fishing, it almost feels like you can still sometimes find those kind of quality fish acting very happily, but you really have to be willing to go the distance. Like, you can't just go, let me go Little Bahamas and find them, because they're not going to be there. But if you were to really stick to the sand and for a couple of days, and you knew that on this bend and this indentation, the water is doing this, like, you can get it, but it's
You
just
did your
different.
homework.
Yes.
You know what the hell you're doing.
Yes. That's the difference.
That's the difference. You bet.
Wow.
There's lots of little spots like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to spend time with a lot of talented anglers and very experienced anglers to kind of learn what I know about the bay. So we are at the hour and 5 minute mark. I have 2 last questions that I'd like to end off on, but before I do that, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we haven't gone over?
Not really. Some of the tarpon fishing on the jetties, Boca Chica Beach.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the tarpon stuff.
We did a lot of, in my younger days, when I won, we were catching 20, 30-pound tarpon off the jetties during TIFF.
Yeah.
And we won our share of trophies. The amount of tarpon back then compared to now, Where'd they go? Why don't they migrate around the jetties like they used to when I was 20-something years old? I don't know what the hell's going on. I love to go to the jetties, middle of the week, sit there, see what's going on. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
The bait is not there. The mullet runs over, but the tarpon fishing ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
Compared to what it used to be. But I don't know. South Texas, everything's changing. Water temperature, the migration. You hear about the migration at Mansfield, at the jetties. Those guys slaying them up there. Mm-hmm. But it kind of bypasses us here. It's just like they go offshore and go around us.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You think maybe it's because of all the gill nets that used to go out a mile into the
I don't know.
into the ocean from Mexico side?
I would like some biologist to tell me what the hell's going on. Mm-hmm. It's like the flatties. How come they're so prevalent up north and we barely get any down here?
That's a good question.
Oh, we've discussed, me and Kilgore. If you want to know something, that guy's sharp and he's talked to everybody.
Oh, hell yeah, he is.
And he brought a good point up. You got to stop these guys from fishing, gigging at night.
He said that also on our podcast.
That has got to stop. You have to stop that. Parks and Wildlife thinks to make that a game fish.
Yeah.
I mean, why do they want to do that?
Well, the same reason they won't make snook a game fish per se, right? Like,
It's one a day.
yeah, like,
The
but
Mexicanos make it 5 a day. That's standard procedure for those mohawks. But I'm telling you, it needs to be protected. And needs more eyes out there.
yeah,
Like you said, put a pickup out there.
yeah. No, I agree. No, I would really like to see Texas care a little bit more, especially after Abbott just recently reauthorized or reapproved desalination plants, which aren't a bad thing. The problem is where they're going to put the discharge. That's what's going to screw up the bay, at least in Corpus. And so that's one of the things. It's like, well, I really wish that, and I had this conversation when the trout limit was a thing also, but it was like, I would have really liked to have seen Texas be the sportsman state that it claims to be. And it doesn't feel like it is.
No, not even close.
Right. And mind you, that's because Texas at one point, was the trailblazer in terms of conservation. They were the first. GCCA was the first. But then again, it's like, some of the people that I've been able to talk to that are, high up in CCA, high up in TPWD, those are fantastic characters and they do a lot of great work. But it's also, you can't change culture. And I think that culture is one of the biggest issues. It's, the guys who were, kind of aging out now saying, well, I'm still going to keep and kill everything that I can. And I think that's kind of the biggest issue why we don't see more. And I'm speaking anecdotally, but I think it goes to say for like all the topics we've just basically talked about. It's more of a larger consensus versus smaller minority thing. If that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. And I bring out the point again, when these guys, the Mexicanos, go night fishing. How many times you go out to a flat and you see all these filleted fish out in the water?
One day I was getting out to the Arroyo and I got there and there was like 29 to 35 redfish all, and like shittily filleted too. And you could just tell what had happened.
Sure, they rape it.
And you just sit there and you're like, what?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Like, it's just
because that's their attitude. Their dad did it. Their grandfather did it.
Exactly. It
starts at home.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, how do you change that?
No education.
Not even education though. It's how do you tell someone who when you tell them, hey, you shouldn't keep those fish, when you tell them that, they're gonna take that as you're insulting me, you're coming at me, this is my right, et cetera, et cetera. It's hard to change something like that.
Like the red snapper limits.
Yeah, but then that had to be changed though.
It doesn't make sense, but I mean, you're never going to change the Mexicanos. They just can't do it. It's part of the culture.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I'd like to go off on a limb and say that we are saying Mexicanos a lot, but at the end of the day, this is like everyone who's just been here. Yeah, like everyone who's just been here and been like, it's a culture thing, but it's like it's annoying to see so many people who claim that they love this fishery and claim that they want to see it like be better and that it brings them joy and this, that, and the other thing. But then the first chance they get to show, wow, look at how much of a man I am because of all the fish I kill. It's like, you look like a fucking hypocrite.
I'll tell you another thing.
Okay.
sitting at the mouth of the river. Those pangas come out, run back on the U.S. side,
Yep.
a couple of miles, drop their gill nets, go back across to Mexico, sit there about an hour. Nobody coming, check their binoculars, come pick up their catch. I see them all the time.
Yep.
I put my, Swarovskis on a 10 by 50s. I know exactly what's going on. Call Parks and Wildlife, call the feds.
No one
Nobody
does anything
shows up.
about it.
Nobody gives a damn.
That's fucking bullshit.
This is when the fishing was going on. That's when I'm there.
Yeah.
And you see this guy just raping it. I'm not talking Spanish mackerel either. And he knows. That guy's part of that viejito that knows where the pozo's at. And that's sad to see because we try to take care of it so much. Mexicano comes over there and palo.
Yep. Same thing with just like overall like ocean pollution in like China, Thailand, Japan. Same exact concept. Well, with that being said, we've gone over a lot of topics in an hour and 10 minutes. The last two questions I have is looking back at everything that you've done or been able to experience, etc. Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently besides staying too late in Bahia Grande?
Wish I had more time. I'm getting old.
That felony won't mean much. I would go get it. Fuck it.
I need more time, I'm planning a trip to Mazatlan to go fish on the beach.
Heard.
And I'll tell you what goes on there, but I've got some good insight snook fishing on the beach.
Really?
And that's my cup of tea. That's what I like to do. Early morning, 9-foot rod, throw a 1 ounce jig out there, see what's going on. Bargo.
Bargo,
That's
yes.
something we don't have down here. And I've been studying that, and we're going to go take a look at it sometime in January. I'll give you a full report on that.
That would be awesome. Wow, okay. And the last question I have is, as if you're talking to, the next generation of anglers, 14, 15, 16, 18, who want to kind of go into the outdoor industry as a career or, just as a lifelong passion, what is a piece of advice that you'd give them?
I like to see kids learn gun safety, first of all. It starts at the gun club. And get somebody who knows what they're doing. The same thing going to the bay. Get out there, enjoy it, respect it, have fun, and get somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. But it's hard to find a guru like you who knows what to do. And where are you going to find that kid, Yeah. It's hard. These kids nowadays, they could barely go to Port Isabel and wait the channel and catch some pricky perch or whatever.
If that, at this point.
It is. There's no fish.
They're too smart, or they're just.
Sometimes they can find some mangroves at the swing bridge, or it's just a hit and miss deal. But kids nowadays to catch fish, good luck.
Yeah,
it's tough. Go to Game and Bridge and get in there with the Mexicanos.
With the jigs and just get your limit, go home.
It's sad but true, But and Parks and Wildlife needs, like we said, get a pickup down there, put the emblem out there. Walk around with your badge.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, we're hour 13. Typically, these are hour 15, so we hit it right on the mark. Is there anything else that you wanted to have had said?
Andres, you did a good job.
You did a better job.
It's been fun. Like I said, I wish I had more time.
Yeah.
I really want, I want to fish this year, Mansfield. Go back north. Experiment. Get away from the boat traffic.
Yeah.
But those pricks over at those 500s, they'll be up there.
And then they'll burn you over at 9 Mile too.
But I'll get the airplane up there, go do my homework, see what's going on, and maybe come back the next day. And maybe. I've got some buddies that have houses over there on the channel. It ain't what it used to be. It's not what it used to be.
Well,
it's like that everywhere. I should have been here yesterday. I'm a big surfer. I know what it's like, It was
That's funny.
Good waves yesterday. Should have been
Missed them yesterday, dude.
Yeah, you're late.
All right. Well, all we have left to do is just get on out of here. So thank you, Ollie.
Thank you.